Hey everyone. My name is David Moore. Thanks a lot for letting me speak. Big shout out to Phil and Noel and Matt and you guys, everyone at Open Plans for hosting us in this amazing space. Thanks so much and good hustle on the organizing, and thanks for the refreshments. I'm the executive director and co-founder of the Participatory Politics Foundation, and we're a nonprofit organization. We're based just up the street, just up Lafayette. We're at Lafayette and Spring. Our offices are open to come by anytime. And our mission is to make politics more accessible, more transparent, and to combat corruption. If you guys have seen any of Professor Larry Lessig's talks on corruption, where we make open source software and web tools that address the disconnect between people and government. And so our flagship website is opencongress.org, which I actually maybe Matt can, that's our organization homepage. OpenCongress.org, it's the most visited government transparency website in the US. And it's for tracking and sharing bills, votes, issues, and members of Congress. Our goal was basically to make a user-friendly version of Thomas. So please do check out OpenCongress. Our whole stack running OpenCongress is free and open source. We also have an open API, so we contribute data back to the commons. And with OpenCongress, really what we do is we aggregate official government data with news coverage and blog coverage, and public comments, and then participation tools. And the idea is that we want to give you the real story behind what's happening in Congress. But one of the reasons that I'm excited to talk to you guys today is because we're getting ready to make an official announcement. It's not quite official yet, but OpenCongress is a joint project. Thanks, by the way, Matt, for running the, that's useful. OpenCongress is a joint project of my nonprofit, the Participatory Politics Foundation, and the DC-based Sunlight Foundation, which does work in government transparency. And so we haven't geared up to an official announcement yet, but we are getting ready to bring the Open Congress model to all 50 state legislatures and then down to the city and local level. So here's our thoughts on this. So starting next year, we're going to partner together with a broader open source community of volunteers in order to first make formal, structured data streams from state legislatures. And the folks who do work, for example, in the New York State Senate here, our friends and some of them are here, and they do amazing work, and our heart goes out to them. And we wish that every state Senate was as awesome and responsive as the New York State Senate, because all of us would live in a much, much better world if that were the case. So with these structured data streams that are being put together around with volunteers at the Sunlight Foundation labs, we're going to plug those into new open source code that we're writing, and we're ramping up to write for Open Congress. So we're going to have new state level versions of Open Congress for all 50 state level governments, and then also we're going to tackle the even thornier issues of making versions for various cities, and we're also putting the code out there for anyone to remix and play with, totally free of charge. We're totally committed to openness in this, and so anyone will be able to create one for their hyperlocality, for their neighborhood, or just for your issue group. For example, if you care about climate change, you can make a version of it for around climate change. If you work for a company or you're affiliated with an academic institution, you'll be able to make a version of Open Congress for that. So really, it's a platform for engagement on all levels. So the code for Open Congress is already up on GitHub. You can already check it out. You can already make use of our API, and you can already join the site free and just sort of get involved in sort of the user-facing participation aspects of letting Congress know what you think about their shenanigans, which we encourage you to do. So we'll be making some public announcements. If you subscribe to our email list and check out our blog, you can follow us on Twitter at OpenCongress. And in January, we'll be making more formal announcements, and there's a ton of opportunity for people to get involved if you're a programmer, or if you're a web designer, or if you're just an enthusiast who's into supporting the cause of open government. We're going to have lots of beta testing opportunities and lots of sort of volunteer editing opportunities. So we really cast a wide net. We're a really open and collaborative crew, and so we're going to be looking a lot to volunteer help to help build this out. Since I'm based just up the street, feel free to drop me a line anytime at david@opencongress.org. I'm happy to take any questions, and thanks for letting me talk. Yeah. Yep. Sure. Yep. No problem. The question was currently with OpenCongress.org, how are our APIs used? The easy answer off the top is that we've got a ton of different data offerings, so there's obviously a ton of potential uses. Some of the most we envisioned that some of the most popular use of our API would be with our unique user-generated data. So we've got a user community of 100,000 people, and they track bills and they comment on bills, and that's really a unique thing that we're spitting back out to the data commons. We thought that that was going to be the most unique use. But we actually see right now that a lot of people are using our API just to bring in bill text at a very, very basic level, to bring in official government data at a very, very... So a lot of people right now are actually not using almost the second order uses of it, or the sort of the community, the user-generated stuff. They're using this is our open API page. This is totally free, by the way. Dive in and please make use of it. It's robust and ready to go and totally live. And you can use it to see things like, who are the senators most in the news this week, compare votes of 2 people. OpenCongress users who are tracking this person are also tracking, if those kind of things make sense. But a lot of people are just using, like, for example, the bills API here that I'm highlighting up on the screen to track bills by type, bills by number, bills by issue area. But you can see it's fairly extensive, and we're only interested in building this out. By the way, I forgot to mention that we're built in Ruby on Rails, but we also have Semantic Media Wiki. Call into the wiki. It used to be called Congresspedia, now it's called the OpenCongress Wiki. So there's a ton of data there too. Yeah.
I have a very greedy, money-oriented question. How do you pay your
Sure.
network usage bills?
We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're dedicated to the public good. Everything we do is free and open source. We support ourselves with foundation fundraising. I think maybe one more.
How does the mainstream media use this, or do they use this in any way?
Yeah, definitely. So journalists and political bloggers and issue-based organizations are sort of 3 of the key target audiences who use it every day. We also catch a lot of Google traffic from people just hearing about a healthcare bill, for example, in the news now, and getting to our site for the first time. The New York Times and the Washington Post link to bill pages because we're an open access platform that aggregates all the official government information with any mention of a bill out there on the web in news or blogs. We aggregate that all and present it in a more usable format. That's big. Political bloggers like to link to our issue area pages, and sort of watchdogs can use any of our watchdogging features to share votes sort of peer-to-peer and compare how their members are doing. So, cool. Thanks. Thanks for letting me talk.